scientists.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hall.
I am so excited today because today we're going to be learning how to understand the key players in a food web, such as producers, decomposers, as well as consumers. We are also going to create, based on that information, we are also going to create our very own food web. All right? Now keep in mind that when we're dealing with food webs, remember how a couple of days ago we talked about how different food chains come together to make the food webs. So it's a very complex system. And when we create the food web, we will be focusing on aquatic ecosystems, stuff, organisms in the water. Everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a key vocabulary you need to be aware of. Organisms, say it.
Organisms.
Food web.
Food web.
This is review. Producer.
Producer.
Consumer.
Consumer.
Decomposer.
Decomposers.
Ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
Okay, this is all review. And those are the particular terms that I want you to use when you're discussing your organism scientifically. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and Hayden is going to take it away. He did his own presentation a couple of days ago on the particular food web, and he's going to give you a little bit more background information. But before Hayden do, I want you to build your own, draw off of what you've already learned with this key question. What is an ecosystem? Why is it important? The purpose of it. Okay? Would you like, let's go ahead and, Mildred, what would you say?
I'll say that an ecosystem is a lot of animals or a lot of plants and insects that come together because they all help each other because they live off of each other because they eat each other, or sometimes sometimes one help one another.
Love the way your mind works scientifically. Would anybody like to hold her accountable?
I agree with Mildred because when she said it's
Right.
Oh.
Speak up loud.
when I agree with Mildred because when she said it's like when foods connect when animals connect with other things that they eat, that's like an ecosystem, like kind of like a food chain.
All right. Awesome. And Anaya?
I agree with Mildred too because some of the animals that help the other fish might eat what the other fish eat. Like if something eats a fish and the other fish eats the fish that is prey and it eats it, so it's helping it.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Love the way you guys think scientifically. Well, we're going to let Hayden take it away, and we can definitely hold him accountable scientifically. Okay. It's still not doing it. The version of this PowerPoint, it doesn't hold the version for that one. So we got to do it from here. All right. So this is the food web. Keep in mind, remember, we're identifying the key players in the ecosystem, and we are also going to be creating our very own food web in just a moment. All right. You may go.
How do food webs work? This is a picture of a traditional food web. The snake will eat
The shrew.
the shrew and the mouse. The shrew and the mouse will eat the insects, and the mouse will eat grass and the insects. The rabbit will eat the grass. Deer will eat the rabbit, and deer eats the grass.
Okay.
What makes it so grass is producer and all the others are consumers.
Awesome. Good job.
How would you make your food web?
Hold on, Hayden. Please pay attention because you're gonna be making a food web. It may not be a land food web, but it's definitely gonna. You definitely need. They have similarities. Go ahead.
How to make a food web? This is a food web. A food web is a web of animals that keeps the cycle of life in check. Some are carnivores, some are omnivores. As you can see here, this is what I pulled off of some websites will be on references, all the pictures I got.
Okay.
What is a decomposer? Here's a picture of a decomposer, which is earthworms, which are the main decomposers. Yes, Mildred?
I have a question. Like, do the worms? Since I think that the worms help, and they also produce because some birds eat worms, so they dig the dirt to eat the worms. And I also think that they help by fertilizing the soil, and that they fertilize the soil so it can help the plants grow. So the animals that need the plants.
That's exactly right. They are kind of like producers, but they don't make their own food. But they actually do fertilize the soil. Anybody else? Mildred?
I'm sorry. Also, like, how do worms, like, how do they eat? Like, do they make their own food, or because usually they're just in the soil, and since they're always digged up, I don't think that really nothing lives in the soil but them. And also, how do they how do they look? Because they're covered by dirt. So how would they be able to see to move around in the soil? And like us people, we have to use oxygen to breathe, and the plants use carbon dioxide. And what do the worms do?
Well, they can't see, and you don't see. They look like they're moist. So, but they can feel. That's one of their senses. They can feel. So whenever they're in hot, whether they know they need to go in soil, which is moist. When they feel moist soil, they dig down.
Awesome.
What does a producer do? Here's a picture of a producer, which is grass. They make sugar. They make their own food by using carbon dioxide and water from the ground. They make food for us to eat, so we don't get starved.
Yeah. Okay. Did anybody have a question for Hayden? Okay. And then he's gonna close it off.
Jalen?
I know what is a decomposer, and we know the grass is a producer, but I know what a producer is, and now I forgot what a producer means.
Well, producer.
We'll go back. We'll go back. I'll help him out, Hayden. When you're thinking of a producer, keep in mind producers produce. They make their own something. They create their own something. And if you remember back the photosynthesis we did before the Thanksgiving holidays, remember how the sun and the carbon dioxide, and it's a chemical thing going on, and how the plants absorb, right? So keep that in mind, and then as a result, at the end of photosynthesis, you have glucose or sugar that the plants can use as their own food. So that will help you understand producers. But what we'll do is we'll ask some more questions later. We'll probably put them on an index card for feedback. But right now, let Hayden go to his reference list. He'll explain to you where he has his resources, and they may answer some of the questions you might have. Hayden?
Well, so this is where I got the first food web, which is on how do food webs work.
That one.
So you go to this website right here. Ms. Hall, could you
I'll do
press
that
out
as a-
some paper?
Yeah,
For
well,
everybody?
what I'll do is for you, I'll print this, remember? I'll print this and I'll make sure every child has one just in case they want to visit this website. I'm all for that.
And the second reference I got is the desert food web. This is actually a good a good food web for this. If you ever want to do a little PowerPoint on food webs or food chains, just ask Miss Hall or me. Well, and this website is very good for a website. I mean, it might have a lot of food webs on it.
Okay. And then you have your decomposers and your producers.
Yeah,
very
those
good.
are the two.
We're going to definitely have to visit these, and we can actually use these sites as research sites for future references. And you did a very, very awesome scientific, good job. All right, give me a clap on that. And what we'll do is we'll leave this up just in case you need to refer to it. And at this moment, yeah, you can. At this moment, you all are partnered up with someone that has an organism card. I want you and your partner to discuss what's on your organism card, and then we're going to stand up and create, you may need to get with them, and create our very own food web. Figure out where your organism is going to fit in the food web. Okay? Is this more of a producer? Well, wait a minute. If I eat insects, where do I go? I mean, keep all of that in mind. Okay? Go ahead and have this conversation and discuss where you think you're going to be in the food web. Yeah, use your accountable talk.
Anaya. She said use your accountable talk.
We have pumpkin seed, fishy facts. I have a sharp spine in my dorsal fin, so be careful when handling me. You can tell me apart from the bluegill because my gill flap is black with a red or orange spot on it. What's on the menu? Insects, mosquito, larvae, snails, and small fish.
You're talking.
This is
also a source. Yeah. So I'm the beginning of it.
Okay. I like it.
This is a seaweed, so we know that it doesn't go with the pumpkin because it's not on the menu. It's
All right, class.
Yes.
Class.
Yes.
Are we ready?
Ready, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, who has the sun? We always have to remember we get all of our energy from the sun. Did I give any group the sun? I didn't give anybody the sun? Well, I'll be the sun. All right, after the sun, do we have any consumers in this pile? Any consumers? I think we have a lot of consumers. Well, do we have any producers in the pile? Okay, come on, producer, come on up. Producers. Okay, you guys are gonna, my producers are gonna come right here. Okay, back up some guys so I can stretch the string. All right. Okay, so who's one of the producers? Back up all the way that way. Okay, you hold this to yours. You hold it and back up. Who's my next producer?
Right here.
Okay. So you're going to go with her, with Amaya. You're going to go with her. You're going to hold your own. And then, who's another producer? Plankton. Good. Okay. So you go with the producers. Okay, back up if you don't have a card. If you don't have a card, Eli, don't push, don't hold it that much. You eat plankton, so who should you pair up with if you eat plankton? Okay, so go there. So if she eats plankton, is she a